My name is Vivian Malloy, and I own Addition Farm, which started many, many years ago, and it's our 25th anniversary. I've come so far. I never thought I would have a Grade 1 winner. I admired people that did breed horses like that, and now I can be one of those people.
My mom started small as a quarter owner in a racehorse 25 years later, and my mother has been honored not once but twice with New York State Thoroughbred Breeder of the Year. And as she says, the first time was luck, the second time is for real, but for those of us who know and love her, we know it's always been real.
We're really proud of her, and particularly because of these recent awards, which were stunning and impressive. The other thing I would say about my sister Vivian is that she was born before the feminist revolution, so it never occurred to any of us or to herself that she might go into business or law or something else. Had she done so, I'm sure General Motors wouldn't have gotten into trouble had she been running it, or she'd be in the Supreme Court if she was a lawyer. But as it happened, she pursued family and horses, and of course has excelled in both.
That's Mom. She is committed to just putting forth the best product that New York State can have. It makes me very proud.
There's a lot of work in it, and she's in the tall grass with the rest of them. So I respect the heck out of the fact that she was able to win that award again.
The first time Vivian won Breeder of the Year, it was something that she just really, really deserved. This time is even more spectacular.
Hello, Vivian. I learned what it means to be a thoroughbred from you. And I know you can relate to that, because that's who you are. Happy 25th. I love you, girl.
The 25th anniversary of the farm is an extremely exciting goal, and it occurred in a year of much sadness, more than anybody could imagine. My husband was very, very ill and held on really until daughter Debbie came from Germany, and then she never left his side. And then she went back to Germany, and a few months later she was gone.
I use the horses as my example. If they don't give up, I won't either. Debbie and Harry never did, and clearly are pushing me on. As a second-time New York State Breeder of the Year, I must be doing something right. I believe my wise Debbie is still at my side, and that Harry is enjoying the races with me as he always did. Watching his horse come down the stretch, he never yelled as loud as I did. But his hugs were pretty strong, and the kiss at the finish was the best. This is my best crop. Enjoy. Lastly, you want to bring in Impulse Shopper. Every weanling is called by its mother's name. They don't get a name until their new owners give them a name, or I give them a name. And I already named him. Listen to this. Impulse Shopper, read the footnotes, is named Shopping List.
One thing that stands out in my mind about Mrs. Malloy and her husband Harry, it was always fun to run horses for her. They could run a horse in February at Aqueduct, in the 9th race, in the snow, in the mud, and we'd have a good time.
The next weanling is J. Ray's baby. He's not weaned yet. So he's coming in with J. Ray, almost $1 million earner. The next weanling is Jessie's Justice. This is a filly. You see that she's smaller, a little finer bone. The boys are bigger. The next one is filly, very, very well behaved. Okay, you're very well behaved, very well behaved.
Vivian is definitely an animal person. She understands her animals, and she always wants to know why they do what they do and why they don't do what they don't do.
She's a wonderful all-around horsewoman, is brilliant about care and feeding and everything that horses need.
The next one is mine tonight's first. This might be her last foal, because mine tonight came up, what they say, empty. She didn't get back in foal this year. He's a Spitfire. Okay. The next one is, Miney's awesome. He was one of the heaviest foals born at the farm. He was 122 pounds at birth. And I must say he looks like his sire. He does not look like Miney's Awesome, which is good because Miney's Awesome has very short legs, and we keep on breeding her to long-legged stallions. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This is Morning Gallop's Posse. He's got flash and he's got bone and he's just beautiful. Don't you agree? He's beautiful. The next one out of my runaway groom mare, and he's by Posse. If you have 2 or 3 of the same sire at a farm and they all look like their sire, it speaks volumes for the strength of the sire. If you have a mare, you don't want her to always reproduce herself. You want to have it look like that stallion that you paid all that money for. So this is another Posse, and I don't think I can do better than that. The next, this baby is out of Sari. Sari is gray, and she was bred to Sensational. She has tiger stripes on her legs. If she were a dog, you would call her a brindle. It's a lovely, lovely baby. It's the first crop of Sensational, right, Larry? Yeah. Thank you. This next filly is out of Shady Lady, and she's by Colonel John. We have 2 Colonel Johns on this farm, one of mine and one of Larry's. They're both fantastic. I mean, look at this is a filly. Look at her bone. Look at her breadth of chest and her rear end. I mean, she's powerful. Here comes Strike Eagle, who is a gray. It's a colt. Strike Eagle does have a bit of attitude of her own, and she obviously has passed it on to her baby.
The 25th anniversary is really exciting. I remember coming here and Caitlin and I would, walk around, and she used to put us in the little bucket seat with Special Edition. She included us as much as she could. There was one racehorse she named Caitlin Ann after me, and we went to Saratoga and watched her run, which was very cool, and she ended up winning second. But of course, me being young and not really knowing, I think I was 7, I was like, oh, she won second? Oh no, but it was like a very big deal. And she's like, Caitlin, it's okay, it was great. So it's nice to be that she includes her family with her horses in any way she can.
The next weanling is already named, and I named her after my granddaughter, Julia. And I'm gonna let Julia tell you what her name is, what the horse's name is.
Julia Talks Up a Storm.
That's her real name. It's on her papers. Okay. She's really small, but she's cute as anything. She's very, again, very correct. Last year we had Owen Rico, and this year we have Julia Talks Up a Storm. Thank you, Julia. The next filly is going to take a little bit of talking about. As you know, Debbie passed away in February. And all of us, the family, were in Germany. And Annette called me on my cell phone and told me that I had a foal, a filly foal, out of Then She Laughs. Then She Laughs is by Distorted Humor. So I said, well, that's easy. It's going to be Then Debbie Laughs. And this is Then Debbie Laughs. She's also by Colonel John, that you saw one before. And she's actually in a contest, beauty contest. So we hope she wins, but it doesn't matter because she's going to win on the track. Named after Debbie. How could she lose? All right, and this is the last one. And this is one of the youngest foals on the farm, and yet the biggest. And the sire was Malibu Moon, who's a grandson of Seattle Slew. I want you to look at a grade 1 producing mare. When I bought her, I said stakes winner, sound, and so I got a grade 1 winner, and maybe that's the next grade 1 winner. Thank you. Now I'm going to show you some mares. You already saw Wake Up Kiss, and now we're going to bring Bubbling Heights. This is a stakes-producing mare. I just want to tell you a little thing about what a wonderful brood mare she is. She had had a baby, and the baby was lying over in the corner, and then the groom came in and put a bunch of hay in the other corner. I watched her. She was not going to leave that baby. She took the bale of hay from where it was and put it on top of the baby's back so she could eat her hay and watch her baby. This is a granddaughter of Secretariat. She is a stakes winner. She has produced stakes winners. She has his fire. She's passing it on. She didn't have a baby for like 4 years. And when she finally had Ouchie Night, she was just so happy. And she spoiled this baby. This baby would nip at her and kick at her, and she'd just stand there and look and say, "Isn't she beautiful?"
When Vivian and I first got together, she put in an order to get a female horse that was running good and could possibly be a brood mare and be bred after her running days were over. And there was a sale coming up, and this filly seemed to fit the bill. Mine Tonight, we bought her, and make a long story short, she was very, very seldom off the board. She won a lot of races at a lot of different tracks, and another one of the pleasures to be around. She became a foundation mare for Mrs. Malloy, and she was a lot of fun.
The next mare is Myrene, and she's a dam of lots of stakes winners, and she's just a typical thoroughbred. If she didn't have so many babies, she would be trimmed up underneath her belly, and she would be a gorgeous conformation hunter. Beautiful. Come on, Sari. Sari's by Cosine. Now, she wasn't doing very well as a broodmare, and so Larry said, well, this is it. I'll breed her to something in New York instead of Kentucky. And immediately, she had a stakes winner in My Magic Moment. Sometimes you want to pull the plug on a mare, you want to say, I've done my best and it's not working, but, you know, it worked. Then the last one is Then She Laughs, the one by Distorted Humor. When I bred her, they said, oh, you know, she's got long pasterns, they're so weak. All the Distorted Humors have long pasterns. However, they all win. So they come in all sizes and shapes, but there's something in them that produces the stakes horses. So that's my little spiel. Those are the horses.